Welcome, dear viewer. Are you looking for your perfect prince? A pure, heart-fluttering first love? An inappropriately older man with no communication skills? You won't get that here. Just me. Just me talking and talking and talking for ages. Yes, hello once again, dear viewers. I'm back, and I'm more than ever. I did get a request a few months ago, or maybe like even a year ago, for me to do a monthly favorites video, and I feel like I don't really have enough to do that every single month. But today I wanted to go through some whimsical or aesthetic things that bring me joy, like my favorite shows, my little whimsical trinkets, and just other topics that I find interesting to talk about. My decision-making capacity and my cognitive capacity in general is actually quite limited, which is why I have this habit of outsourcing all my difficult decision-making to my dearest viewers online and not listening to them. And while of course my love for my dearest, sweetest princesses is deeper than the universe itself, or superlative, adjective, noun, some of you also fancy yourselves comedians, so I cannot take all of your opinions seriously. Now, for Yuwu's useless anime recommendation segment, I don't know how many of you watched my Q&A, but there was like a dozen of you asking me for anime recommendations last time, and because my Q&A is an hour long, I'm not even sure how many of you got to the point where you even listen to all my anime recommendations, because at that time I was going through it, though I still am. I was only watching like motivational anime about like crushed shoujo protagonists who were going through a hard time and proving themselves wrong. But lately, my number one recommendation is Shugo Chara. I always dismiss Shugo Chara as just this like random kid show that I always recognized during my childhood, but I decided randomly to watch it one day because it's got like 200 episodes. I thought, oh, maybe if it's like that good enough to warrant that many episodes, it's probably like worth watching. And so I assumed that it was like a kids show, and it is, but like it's so crazy. I can't spoil, but there's like a cross-dressing, there's fake identities, there's like kidnapping, there's like one of the worst age gaps you'll see on television. I don't know. I'm someone who's very easily manipulated by the media, so these days, because I've watched like 96 episodes of Shugo Chara in order, I've been like really into the idea of the power of friendship. This is really embarrassing, but do you know what my like life's motto is? It's to be cool and spicy. Because I watched Shugo Chara and I thought, yeah, I wanna be like that. I relate to this 12-year-old girl, even though I am a 17**-year-old man. I've never seen another magical girl anime besides Shugo Chara, and I don't think you need to, because it's basically like 10 shows in one. It's about this girl, Hinamori Amu, who's like this like spunky preteen girl who everyone thinks is like cool and spicy, but in reality she's just this like this anxious girl who's tired of showing this like cool external side, because she's just someone vulnerable on the inside who wants to make friends and wants to be more than just cool and be her true self and radiant. And I thought, that meme is like, but I'm also a woman, it's just like my life in a way. Next recommendation is very famous. It is Hana Kimi. I actually never heard of it because I don't really read shoujo manga. I just watch like whatever's trendy. But like I've seen 3 episodes and I feel like I really like this setting. It's one of those like really stupid settings where it's like,
oh, every boy at the school is handsome and they're all in love with little me? What?
Which describes basically every single piece of media catered towards women, but at the same time, I think that is a better trope than the inverse that we see in like guys' harem anime, where it's like,
oh, I'm this deplorable glasses pervert who sits in the corner of the room, and I also have a cluster B personality disorder, like the people who use Reddit and Twitter and Discord, and even though I'm mean and gruff to people and I look like a squid, and the most popular girl in the school is my childhood best friend.
Well, I'm not even talking about the show anymore. But Hana Kimi, it's very like interesting in that it's about a sort of reverse or on High School Host Club situation where she is pretending to be a boy but no one else knows, and they're falling in love. It's not, well, I guess it's a bit like the Oran Host Club setting where it's like, oh, somewhat masculine boy with short hair infiltrates a school for reasons, but this one is like played as like a straight romance and not like a sort of like a gag show like Oran High School Host Club is. If you like, you know, reverse harem anime, if you like the cold, is that the word? Aloof? Despondent? What does despondent mean? Aloof male lead who's like too good for you but has like a soft spot, and also kabe don pow, kabe don pow, kabe don pow. It's a lot, then I think you'll like this one. I think the number one show that I really have to share with you guys is Even a Replica Can Fall in Love. Now, at first when I saw like the art come up on like my Crunchyroll, I thought, oh, this is just some generic sci-fi fantasy romance anime where everything's desaturated and white and clean. So 2020s, I don't want to watch this. But because it kept coming up on my feed, I thought, okay, maybe I should give it a chance. And I was incredibly pleasantly surprised. So the plot is about Nao, who is a replica to a depressed, struggling, shut-in girl called Sunao. And I was wondering like what this replica thing is about. And during the first few episodes, it's like a supernatural thing. And I thought, okay, this is just the backbone. So Nao goes to school, and she is, unlike her progenitor, a girl who really wants to live, to experience youth, to love, to be with other people, but the withdrawn side of her physically cannot, and she doesn't resent her for that, but Sunao resents her for getting to live. And so the central plot is basically she falls in love with this boy who goes to their literature club, and literature club is Nao's only space because Sunao does not go to literature club. And at first, I thought this was going to be a very interesting, wholesome love story where the message and the moral is, even though you are different, other people still accept you for like your difficulties, even if you were sad, even if you were withdrawn, even if you had a different life than other people. However, it ended up being kind of a supernatural, semi-thriller thing, because of a twist that I won't mention, and the sort of like regular person accepts odd supernatural girl pairing wasn't really what we got. However, I really relate to Nao as a character, and she is up there with like all my other like favorite characters like that I will show here that I deeply relate to as a person. And if you want to get to know me as a person, then I would say these characters sort of embody the way that I feel, think, and approach life and myself. But there are some heavy themes in this anime, so if you are someone who doesn't like that, then I wouldn't recommend watching it. But of course, it is just a 12-episode anime, so it's not like anything crazy. But yeah, that's my number one recommendation. If you are someone who really wants to get a lust for life and you're really desperate for that, like I am, then I think you would really resonate with this show. And my final recommendation for the day, which you might judge me for, is The World Only God Knows. And you might be wondering, I didn't know you were a degenerate. First of all, no, I'm not like you. Second of all, The World Only God Knows is, on the surface, one of those like typical fan service animes where like the protagonist dates a new girl like every 4 episodes and she loses her memory. But what I found really fascinating was that it's not one of those like hand-wavy shows. It has consequences, and I think the people are perfectly aware of how bad of a person the protagonist is. And even though it's like you have to suspend your disbelief at this guy falling in a convincing relationship with a new girl every single cycle, somehow like every episode is really heart-fluttering. I think that even though it's like based on tropes, somehow I'm really entranced and I'm rooting for them. Personally, I think my favorite pairing is Kanon. I think that his relationship with Kanon was the most like solid to me. Anyways, let's get started with just my fun, whimsical things. I think these days, when your life is getting busier because you're getting older, it's very easy to shrug off childish things and like say that, oh, they're frivolous or whatever. So I've been trying to collect some fun, small things that I can just put around my house to not brighten it up, but to make myself feel more whimsical. So this first item is very, very cute, right? It's a Pote Usa Lobby plush doll that I found just on the resale market online. There's a lot of knockoffs for these online, so make sure that the eyes look right and the tags are all in place. They're super, super cute. And if you're someone who likes me enough to know what a George is, then you might recognize that this is from the same manufacturer as George. Really cute. I'm actually someone who prefers rabbits to alpacas, but alpacas are my mascot simply because I think bunnies are overrated. So that is to say, I am pretentious, which you already knew. Lately, I'm actually really sick of like cute things, and I honestly have no interest in doing like a cute concept because, as you can tell, I am an old harpy and I have no desire to do that anymore. The only reason I still make cute graphics for my videos is just because muscle memory and I need time to learn a new art style. But lately I've been really into super tacky things, and because I have the soul of a millennial white woman with an impending divorce and an interest in, I don't know, English teaching or whatever, I've been really into super tacky things. This is a wildflower phone case. I think they were trendy back in like the 2010s, but I just thought this one was like super fun. Lately, I'm someone who's really sick of what you see on Instagram or whatever, like the like super hyper saturated Jumino core aesthetics. I'm just really burnt out by like that sort of core, and I don't really want any association to it. So I've been trying to, you know, change myself up both online and also offline. One of the ways I'm doing that is I'm buying fun retro things that are just like really odd online or at like flea markets and stuff. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've never been to a flea market. I just wanted to sound like I was hip and trendy. One interesting find that I picked up is this Higgledy Pig Hallmark piggy bank. Unfortunately, it came damaged in the mail, so the reason why it's still in the bag is because I'd like to reconstruct this whenever I have the time. You may be wondering, why are you buying a random weird 90s piggy bank from a trading card from a greeting card company? And this is super kind of TMI, but I overshare a lot on this channel anyway. My mother growing up, she's quite on the spectrum, which has its own can of worms that if I talked about in this video, it would change the genre of it, so I won't elaborate. I don't know if you call, what do they call it? A special interest or something? Or like their hyperfixation. My mother's one was pigs, and she had a huge fondness for these Higgledy pig things. And so it's kind of bittersweet in a way, but even though pigs aren't my favorite animal, or you know, I don't really care for them in real life, I eat pork. Whenever I see something like this online, I like to pick it up just because I think, I wouldn't say it's comforting, but it's very nostalgic for me in a personal sense. So, I don't know, obviously you won't have that type of backstory, but for me, I really like collecting things from the 90s and perhaps even 2000s, because the build quality of like stuffed animals or like ceramics or stuff like that is just a lot more, they feel more handmade and intentional than stuff these days. And it's not really me romanticizing that time period because I wasn't alive. More so, I feel like because the technology for mass production is just better these days, so people cut corners. I don't know how applicable this is for you because you might not want to smell like me, but the other day I asked you guys for perfume suggestions because I was going through it. Actually, no, I wasn't going through it. I was just scrolling. I was scrolling and I saw this photo of, I thought this art was amazing. This is everything I want to be. I also want to be innocent, perfect, first love. And so I didn't know like how to embody that. So I posted on my story and I was like, hey guys, how do you embody that? And I wasn't expecting much, but actually I got like dozens and dozens and dozens of responses, and I wanted to buy them all because I wanted to appease all of you and to show all of you that I am listening. However, instead I bought 2 of them because it was my birthday like the other day, and I've been buying a lot of small treats to treat myself. And one of you was very kind and reminded me that that was just my natural scent, which I wholeheartedly believe. However, I did want to buy some of your suggestions just because I was curious, and I've been using the same perfume since like 2019, so I wanted some variety, and these 2 were both on sale. So the first one that I bought was this Lazy Sunday Morning by Maison Margiela, the replica series. And I bought this because I think 2 or 3 of you suggested the same one, and to me it smells like a bit like lavender and mostly laundry, so it's like kind of soft. It's very androgynous if you wanted it for yourself. And the other one that I got was this, I think, Paco Rabanne Invictus perfume, and it comes in this really, packaging, and the spray is like, it's like really weak. It's like a string of liquid, and it's not like a spray. I don't like it. And this one, it feels very boy. It feels very like locker room. It feels very like I don't know, it stings a bit. So I think if you mix them, but actually if you mix them both together, I think it does give like sort of a soft laundry and like boy mix. And I do think that it does smell kind of like an innocent first love that I'm trying to be. I mean, of course, perfume colognes, they have no gender, and if you want to like wear them, that's fine. Obviously, if you want to give them to your boyfriend, if you have a boyfriend besides me, your brother or your father, then that would be pretty fun. Though I suppose some of you probably might also have girlfriends. So you can give that to your girlfriend as well if you are a girl with a girlfriend. I'm super progressive like that. They should name a small town after me.
Before you go, please consider joining the U membership if you want sparkly badges next to your name and comments, whimsical stickers that I drew myself, endless hours of my gratingly adorable commentary, and to join the Hall of Fame with Annette Moriori, Valencito, Chihyo Kinesis, Zeno, Angeli, Gestato Potato, Milk Tea, Estelle, Angel, Simon Says, and Inez, and of course all my other dear members regardless of whether or not you signed up for a shoutout or not. My membership will always be the cheapest available price in your region, so if you're interested, please check it out or watch another one of my videos to support the channel, and I will see you next time.